look what finally arrived in the mail. After 3 damn weeks. Seriously, USPS, just... thanks for that. Again. Hey guys, and welcome to Rock Critic Unscripted. This is, an experiment. To put it bluntly, well, okay, the #1 comment I get from you guys on pretty much anything, in one form or another, is, please can you give us more reviews? Full episodes obviously take a while, and even quickies can take 2 to 5 days, depending on, you know, when I can get around to it, what my schedule looks like, if everything goes smoothly. Spoiler alert, it almost never does. But those videos also take a lot of time and effort, and it takes a lot to get those videos from the scripting phase to the actual screen. And there's a lot of steps in that, and with this particular format of review, I'm hoping to eliminate a lot of those steps, and in turn, produce a kind of review that's easier to get out, something that's a bit more quick, a bit more punchy. And no, this isn't meant to replace anything. Quickies aren't going anywhere. Nothing else is getting pushed to the side for this. These videos are going to be a lot more stripped down. There isn't a script. There isn't any particular kind of format or formula we need to follow. It's basically just, I listen to the album a few times, take a few notes while I'm listening, and we just talk about it for a bit. Pretty simple. Pretty cut and dry. It's just a way to get more stuff out to you guys, and you guys have been begging me for more stuff, so this is kind of a way to help remedy that. I don't know, like I said, this is just a quick and dirty way to get a review out, so... And like I said, this isn't replacing anything, this isn't going to be pushing anything else aside, or fucking with the schedule too much. And like I said, if you guys like this, or don't like it, please let me know in the comments. Like I say, if you like it, we can do more, we can... You know, I have actually a few albums in mind to tackle for our first few episodes here, but again, if you don't like it, this isn't something we have to commit to or anything. We're just trying out. Just gonna try the glove on to see how well it fits. So, let's get this first episode started with Panic at the Disco's latest, Death of a Bachelor. I've always really enjoyed Panic. Like, out of all the, like, early 2000s-ish emo groups that were kind of floating around, like, I was a big fan of Panic, even though, yeah, it was goofy, and it was really dumb, and, yeah, I don't know what the hell was going on with the costumes. There was a lot to not like about Panic, but I still, at its core, the music was really, really good. Like, Brandon Urie probably had the best vocals in that entire scene. Like, the dude can actually sing. But Panic is one of those bands that always seem to have trouble finding their sound. You know, like, they never knew what they wanted to be. Like, the first album is pretty much just straight up emo. The second album is aptly titled. And then after that album, the band pretty much just split in two. Which I think a lot of people were pretty much convinced they were done at that point. Emo was dead by that point, and I don't know, people didn't really have a lot of expectations for these guys. But the third album actually was a lot more impressive than I think a lot of us were expecting. I mean, Ready to Go is still probably one of the best songs they've ever written. Seriously, it's amazing. Like, seriously, there was a lot of great work on that album, and I think it kind of showed us that Brandon Urie was the real talent, the real voice behind that group. And then the fourth album came out, I was just kind of bored. It didn't have anything terribly memorable about it. Like, I tried re-listening to that album again for this review, and you know, it wasn't bad, but it was one of those albums you kind of forget the moment you listen to it. Just nothing incompetent, but nothing really memorable. Nothing that just kind of grabbed you by the shoulders and made you want to pay attention, you know? Just, again, it was one of those albums where, you know, Brandon was just kind of finding his sound, trying to figure out what Panic is supposed to be. And that is a question that has kind of haunted this band throughout their entire career. And the thing is, like, when I heard this album was going to be happening, I figured, okay, this is really going to be the make or break, because they've kind of been feeling around in the dark for so long. They're either going to get it right here, or they're just going to botch it, and no one's going to care anymore, and Brandon will probably just have to move on. And that's another thing about this album. Every other member is gone from Panic at the Disco. There is literally no one else from the original lineup, no one, period. This album is the Brandon Urie Show, featuring Brandon Urie, starring Brandon Urie, Brandon Urie, Brandon Urie, and with cameo appearances by Brandon Urie, Brandon Urie, Brandon Urie, and the lovable rapscallion Brandon Urie. This album is the Brandon Urie Show, so if anything's good, then hey, he gets all the credit. Hey, what a wonderful, true, passionate musician we have here. But if anything chugs balls, then I can only point my finger in one direction. Man, I have officially got to go to the gym. Brandon plays every instrument on this album, save for the horns. There's lots of professional songwriting help, but still, this album is the Brandon Urie Show. So how does the Brandon Urie Show hold up? You know, pretty goddamn well. Fuck, I gotta admit. The album starts off really strong with Victorious. Brandon Urie is just killing it on the vocals with this album. Granted, that was always Panic's biggest asset, Urie's vocals. He's an outstanding singer. But man, he's really shining through on this release. His melodies and harmonies are just perfect, nearly flawless. And the thing I like about Panic too is, even though you can tell there's probably a bit of auto-correcting going on here, it's not much, if at all, really. It was hard to spot if it was there. And the thing is, it's not like Urie necessarily even needs it. You can tell this is a guy that knows how to fucking sing, and he kills it on so many tracks. But the other instrumentation is really good too. The surf guitar on Don't Threaten Me with a Good Time is kind of a nice touch, if not maybe a little unoriginal. Though to be fair, like, that song is what I wish Uma Thurman sounded like. Like, seriously, I wish Fall Out Boy sounded like this. If Fall Out Boy sounded like this, I wouldn't give them nearly as much shit. Like, really, this album's strongest suits are the vocals, the key work, and piano work. Seriously, the synths and pianos on this thing are absolutely gorgeous. Especially on the closing tracks, House of Memories and Impossible Year. Like, Brandon is very skilled behind a keyboard, too. The guy knows how to play these instruments. The only thing I would say about the instrumentation is the more traditional band instruments, the guitar, the bass, and the drums, maybe not outstanding, necessarily. I mean, there aren't any wicked solos, or crazy bass lines, or killer, really ludicrous beats, but A, I don't think a lot of people would walk into a Panic album expecting that, and B, it's not like they're bad. They're just kind of, like, they don't get as much of a highlight as the keys and the vocals do, but again, Brandon obviously knows where his strengths lie, and again, he just basically uses those instruments to help build on the rest of the melody. Like, they're not bad, but they are very sufficient. This album goes to so many interesting places, too. Like, on Hallelujah, it starts off, that song in particular, starts off with, like, kind of a soul kind of vibe, but then it instantly switches to, like, this kind of power gospel sort of feel. It's just the raw power behind it. This isn't, you know, hallelujah. It's more powerful. It's more forceful. It's, all you singers stand up, sing hallelujah. Hallelujah. Like, this isn't white people church. This is real bravado. But then a song like Crazy Equals Genius will have more of a, like a swing band or a big band kind of vibe to it, you know? It shifts from different sort of soundscapes and different kind of musical styles, a lot more than I was kind of expecting. I think that was one of my big problems with the previous album. It just didn't really do much. By taking on a different style, Yuri just creates a much more memorable sound, a much more memorable soundscape. Yuri actually said that he wanted the sound of this album to be like a weird hybrid of Queen and Sinatra, which, that does not sound tasty on paper, but Yuri has made it work, and he's made it his own. On songs like the title track and Emperor's New Clothes, like, there's a lot of forcefulness. The drums are really powerful. Like, those are a few of the songs where, like, the band instruments, you know, the more traditional band instruments, shine out a bit better. Yuri's vocal delivery and the emphasis on sort of classic styles, you know, like I say, swing, big band, gospel, like his ability to sort of mold those into a more modern, more radio-friendly kind of sound is absolutely stellar. I mean, if nothing else, this Emperor's New Clothes is better than a related song with a very similar title from a band I reviewed fairly recently here.
No, Obama!
No! Get out of here!
No, Obama!
No, that's a bad mistake! Bad!
Obama!
Bad!
No, Obama!
We don't do that!
No!
No! Sorry, I don't know where that came from. There are a few small gripes I have with the album. The lyrics can occasionally get a little dumb. Yuri literally uses the old cliche, "I'm not as think as you drunk I am." Really? And I would say to those of you that just miss the old style, that just miss I Write Sins Not Tragedies and 9 in the Afternoon, does anyone miss that song? I miss that song. Pretty Odd wasn't that bad. To those of you that just miss the old Panic sound, this is probably the farthest thing from it. In fact, this is basically the most mainstream Panic has ever sounded. Like, this is mainstream rock. It isn't, you know, the quirky emo band, you know, with the top hats and the circus performers and all the Palahniuk references. Oh, the Palahniuk references! Let's be so millennial! It is in that league now. It's in that sort of mainstream, you know, top 40 radio sort of genre now, but the thing is, it's good. It's great. I wish more top 40 sounded like this. Like Maroon 5, this isn't. There's actual originality and actual flavor and sound and lots of experimentation and good stuff that makes the album worth listening to. I mean, it is probably going to be one of those albums the radio just slays to death if it's successful, which, oh, yeah. Yeah, they're doing okay. It really doesn't leave much for the old school Panic fans to really munch on, but, well, here's the thing, guys. It's not 2005 anymore. Like, emo is dead, and their old sound is dated, and, you know, I wouldn't want to hear another Panic album that sounds like the first or the second one. I mean, this band, I say band, this Yuri has to move on. He's got to do something else. He's got to change with the times. And the thing is, I like the changes he's made. Like I said at the beginning, this is one of those bands that have tried forever to figure out what their sound is. I think with this album, they finally nailed it. And they nailed it really hard. I was pretty much all set to give this album a 4. You know, that's an 80%. And then Impossible Year came on. Damn. It's good. It's good. It takes all of the album's strengths, everything that was working the best on the album, and then brings all of that together and culminates it into this just beautifully somber, beautifully kind of bleak closing number. Just, like, everything is on point. The pianos are beautiful. The horns come in crescendo and decrescendo at just the appropriate places. And Yuri, again, he has great control. He exercises great restraint and great, what's the word? Disinhibition. Like, he really is channeling both Freddie Mercury and Frank Sinatra on this album. And yeah, like I say, that doesn't sound like it would work very well on paper, but Yuri is just the guy to pull it off, and he understands what the song needs at the appropriate time. In fact, I would say this is one of the better songs that Panic has ever written. Plus, it serves as a great denouement, a great summarization of what the album is trying to do. And sonically, it's just so... It's a somber song, but it's so sonically pleasing. But with this album's great instrumentation, its wonderfully catchy hooks and choruses, and with Yuri's absolutely skilled and stunning proficiency as a vocalist, I feel like this album deserves 4.5 incredibly well-sculpted abs out of 5. Thanks again for watching, guys. Like I said, this is just a little experiment we're doing. Let me know if you like it, and I can produce more of these. If not, hey, no hard feelings. Like I said, I usually work better with a script anyway, but this is also a good way to get more reviews out. So let me know what you think, and I can whip up some more of these. I already have a few in mind that I want to do, so just let me know, and leave your suggestions. Leave anything else you want to see on this particular format. Just to let you know, more stuff is coming, more stuff is on the way, more quickies, more critical conditions. Still working on that Bad Religion episode, so just stay tuned, guys, and I'll be sure to keep you posted on what's coming down the pipeline. Thanks again for watching, and remember, the only opinion that really matters is your own. Cheers.